haircut. I have a philosophical question for you. Does Popeyes make the best chicken sandwich? I say no. Now, if we were having a real conversation and you actually cared about what I had to say, you might ask, who then makes the best chicken sandwich? You. You make the best chicken sandwich. The best chicken sandwich is fresh, is moist, is crunchy, is flavorful, is made by you. You're the chosen one. Wow, that was pretty inspirational. I got chills. But for real, we're making the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me.
First things first, we need good buns. The bun is the foundation. The bun is the limo in which our superstar arrives in. If you don't have a good bun, you won't have a good sandwich. So let's make a good brioche bun. So I'm making this the night before for a nice in the fridge cauterize. Gives me more time to do more fun stuff tomorrow and gives time for the chicken to marinate. First thing you're gonna want to do is get your butter to room temp, which I already done here. That's the side. I am out of bread flour, so use all purpose. So we're gonna be making 12 buns. Start with 530 grams of flour, ideally bread flour, but if you got all purpose, this is one of the purposes. 10 grams of instant yeast. If you're using dry active yeast, you have to let that bloom beforehand. 50 grams of white sugar, 10 grams of sea salt. Twist that together. Always dry ingredients first. 160 grams of milk, 3 eggs, and 1 egg white. Oop, I always do this. 1 egg yolk. We'll save this egg white for the egg wash. Mixer, dough hook. We'll let it rock. Alright, once our dough starts to come together, slowly add our 150 grams of unsalted butter and work that in. And probably turn this on properly because you don't know what you're doing. So we're about 5 minutes in. That's what our dough looks like right now. It's really sticky. Not really together yet. But after a little bit more mixing, kneading, dough hooking, it should, hopefully, come together into a real dough. I did it again. It's too wet. It's pretty wet. Maybe I should have put 150 grams of milk. Fun fact, this is the first time I'm making brioche. I know most people would test their recipes if they're a normal person, but you know, we're here to learn. It's only bread. Let's add some more flour. It's about a tablespoon for now. Probably needs more. Alright, 1 more tablespoon and it should be perfect. Okay, it's come together. Now it's a nice blob of dough. Some really nice tack. It's a little sticky. So we'll plop this onto our table here. Your bowl should mostly be clean. All the gluten that develops kind of sticks and grabs onto it. So let's roll it into a ball. We know our dough's good when we could stretch it and see light through. Need our dough slap. Into a greased bowl. Cover that with some wrap and let this rest overnight in the fridge. Again, if you're making this the same day, this will be about a 1 to 2 hour or until it doubles in size. I'm gonna put this in the fridge and get onto the chicken. I know Popeyes makes their chicken sandwich with chicken breast, but I got a dozen chicken thighs here. They're the perfect size for a sandwich. And if you know me, I like me some fatty thighs. That was weird and inappropriate. I apologize for that. I am also cheap, and thighs are like a quarter the price of chicken breast, and I think they just taste better. And you could even be cheaper by deboning your own thighs. Sure, it might make sense to buy deboned thighs if you're like Elon Musk or something. We're living in tough times right now, okay? So all it is just taking out this one little bone. Just this little bone here. Make a cut down the bone, and once you see the bone, start scraping around it with a knife, ideally a boning knife. Boning knife. That sounds funny. Again, that was inappropriate. I apologize. This is a family show. All you want to do is just scrape down, pop out the thigh bone, and accidentally leave too much meat on this. I like the skin on my thigh. Obviously, you could take this off if you don't want to. Just gives another layer of juiciness and another level of flavor. So let's debone these thighs. And just like that, with a little movie magic, I am super proficient at this, and it didn't take me 15 minutes. And for these bones, don't throw them out. Make a chicken stock with them, a stew, whatever. This is good stuff right here. Alright, for our brine. Typically, and if you could, you would use buttermilk. But let's say you don't have buttermilk. What do you do? What do you do? Obviously, you can run out and go get some for some fried chicken. Or you could use what you got as an alternative. As in, alternative. So for this much chicken, it's about 4 pounds. We're going to use 2 cups of milk. And for each cup of milk, tablespoon of lemon juice. That's 2. We'll stir that up. What's going to happen is this milk will curdle up. And it's somewhat of a buttermilk substitution. It won't taste as good, but I'm a firm believer in using what you got and keeping ingredients simple. And I always have milk, and I always have lemon juice or lemons. I do drink a glass of milk almost every day. Not with lemons, though, that's gross. Yeah, I'm 11, so what? Fight me. My mom says it gives me big muscles. So after about 5 minutes, your milk should curdle up. It kind of gets a little chunky, and I mean, not a glass of milk I'd drink. Half a teaspoon of kosher salt per pound of meat. We got about 4 pounds of chicky thighs here. So that's 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. We'll do 2 teaspoons of chili powder. 2 tablespoons of garlic. Mix that together. And we got our brine. So if you got a fancy vacuum sealer, it works really well here. What happens is when it's in the bag, it vacuums, it marinates very evenly. And you could use less liquid. And you could also justify using the expensive vacuum sealer that you once purchased. Of course, you could just use a normal bowl. Just want to make sure all your chicken is covered. So you may or may not need more of this brine. Look how tiny this is. How you gonna call that a thigh? Not trying to chicken shame here. All thigh sizes are all beautiful. All right, and then we'll pour our brine in here. Gently massage it so it gets everywhere. This bag might have been too big. Here's your bag of chicky thighs. We'll toss this in the fridge, let that marinate overnight, let that brioche dough rise overnight, and we'll get to the rest of this tomorrow morning. Good morning. First thing you're gonna want to do is get your dough out of the fridge and let it get to room temp before working with it. See, our dough has doubled in size. Sit that on the counter, let that warm up, and try to wake up a little bit more. Good afternoon, everybody. Our dough has been brought to room temp. It's been about a couple hours now. I think this dough turned out pretty good. Give it a little beat down, plop it out. Get as much air out of this as possible. Not bad. Not bad at all. So let's divide this up into 12 equal buns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So let's prep our baking sheet. Parchment paper this time so that they won't stick. Probably should have put parchment paper. A little grease. And again, to roll these out, get this into a ball. Flatten it down. Pull over, pull over to the bottom. Flatten that down a little bit. Should be nice. And if you really want to show off, you do 2 at the same time. So now we got our 12 buns shaped and ready to be proofed. I'm going to put them in a warm spot, covered, or if you got a oven that does proof function, that has a proof function, has a proof function, put in there. It'll take about an hour to a bit or until these double in size. Hopefully I place this in the right spot so they don't grow and touch each other. But we'll put these away and we'll get back to them when they're ready to bake. As we wait for our bread to proof, we could prep the rest of our sandwich. And there's only really 2 things on it. The pickles and the mayo. I'm not gonna lie, I did look into making my own pickles, but I did end up just buying them. They're cheaper. It's like $2. And you get a nice little glass jar. If I wanted the cucumbers for this, it's like $5 for cucumbers. These are trying times, man. But we are gonna make our own mayo from scratch. So in a wide mouth mason jar, we're gonna need 1 whole egg, half a lemon juiced, tablespoon of lemon juice if you just got that, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Apparently this stabilizes this whole mixture. 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt and a cup of neutral flavor oil. I got canola here. You could use vegetable oil. You could stop here if you want just regular mayo. That's all there is to making your own mayo. For that spicy extra flavor mayo, we're gonna add a little bit of more specialties. 1 garlic clove. My secret ingredient, black garlic. If you have this, throw this in every and any sauce you got. Tablespoon of Sriracha, teaspoon of paprika, black pepper. Hopefully you have an immersion blender, because if you got this far, you're not gonna have a good time. Basically, start the immersion blender at the very bottom, and we're gonna blend, and it's gonna pull everything down, and it's gonna emulsify it super quick, super easy, way better than whisking by hand and dripping a little bit of oil every now and then. Give that another taste. That's good. So that's all it takes to make your own mayo. Super simple. If it's a little bit too thin, add a little bit more oil. If it's a little bit too thick, you gotta splash or 2 of water. And using an immersion blender just makes life super easy. Our buns are proofed and ready to go. So that took about an hour and a half, depending on your temperature and humidity, lots of different things. But you want to double in size, and you want them really soft. You poke at it, they bounce back very nicely. Next, our egg wash, and we'll bake them. This egg wash, I'm just gonna use egg white, splash of water, slather that on. Alright, so we're gonna bake these at 375 Fahrenheit for about 15 to 18 minutes until the internal temp is 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So as those buns are baking, we can get started on our chicken. You want to heat up your oil in a cast iron pot. The benefit of this is cast iron holds up a lot of heat. So as soon as you get your oil to the right temperature, you drop your chicken in, then the oil gets really cold, and cold oil means soggy, oily chicken, and everybody's sad when that happens. So get yourself a cast iron pot for your deep frying. Boom, these look beautiful. Let's see, 206, that's good. You're gonna wanna let these cool off before touching them. We got our fry station ready, our oil's preheated, and we'll get this chicken sandwich going. All right, for our dredge, we're gonna need about 2 cups of flour, teaspoon of garlic powder, teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of fine sea salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne, about a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. Mix that all in together. Also gonna want about a 1/4 cup of our brine liquid. It's about a 1/4 cup, right? Alright, so here's the technique. We're gonna do a double fry. We're gonna par fry them for about 5 minutes, get some color in it, let it set at 320 degrees. So we'll preheat our oil to 350. Oil cools down. And then after that, we're gonna throw them in the oven until they reach about 160, 165, and then we'll pull them out, let them cool. And then as soon as you're ready to eat, we're gonna fry them one more time for that final fry, for the extra crispiness. And it's gonna make everything go so much smoother, so much easier, especially when you're making a dozen chicken sandwiches. I know that seems like a lot of work, but trust me, it's worth it. Let's get our chicken in here. Really wanna coat that good. Probably should have used the bigger bowl. So our oil's at 350. Having one of these is super nice because then you don't have to keep checking with the thermometer. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes. You can see we got some nice color here. We'll check the temp. We are only at 110, 105. You ideally want your dark meat around 170 to 180. You can get up to 200, depending on how done you want your thigh. But we're going to put this in the oven now and let it cook internally. Because we can cook this all in the oil, but it'll take about 15 minutes. And it might be too dark for the inside to reach the right temperature. So into the oven it goes. Luckily, we just baked some of our buns here, so it's already preheated. We're gonna get this up to 375 in the oven, and we'll let this go. You can monitor that. Let's get our second batch going. We got our first fry and oven done. Technically speaking, yes, you could eat these right now. They just won't be as crispy unless you put them through the second fry. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna prep our buns. Always, always butter and toast your buns. Ooh, these are soft. Yeah. Alright, second fry. Let's get our oil nice and hot. I'm going to fry it at 375. So we got our buns, got our mayo, we got our pickles, we got our chicken. Crispy, crispy chicken. We'll slather our bun with our mayo. Ugh. Why is this so hard? Ugh. Now I know when you go out and get a Popeye's chicken sandwich, they put bun, mayo, pickle, chicken, bun. Now I would have to disagree because I believe in mouth and tongue direction. You see, when you take a bite, the first thing you taste will be the bun, and then you don't want to be tasting the pickle yet. You want to be tasting the chicken first, and then you want to hit the pickle at the next step to ease out the flavors. So we're going to do chicken, then our pickles. This is the new way. This is the only way. Now you might have problems fitting the pickles on because the chicken's in a irregular shape. I get that. I mean, I guess you could just put pickles on the bottom and on the top. I actually like my pickles. Boom, boom, boom. Let me show this to you. Does Popeyes make the best chicken sandwich? No. This is the best chicken sandwich. You know why? Because I get to eat this one right now. And the next one's gonna be much better because I'll get to eat that one. So now it's your turn to make the best chicken sandwich. You have the power. So I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something. If you didn't, I don't blame you. Give me a dislike, a bad comment down below, and consider subscribing to me and unsubscribing. That's good.